Hello there, if you are new to my channel, please subscribe and also turn on the post notification bell.
Our first post is by Donfire05. My narcissistic mom claims I ruined her Christmas because I called her out on not wearing a mask and now she's trying to steal a cat from a stranger's children. I've only been lucid to the fact that my mom is a narcissist and manipulator for a few months now because she always controlled what I could think or say my whole childhood. When I started dating my BF, I moved out from her house and slowly started to see from an outside perspective her true colors. This Christmas just blew me away and I've finally ran out of sympathy for her. Now that I feel like I can finally think for myself, I haven't been holding my opinions back from her very much anymore, which is driving her crazy and we get into lots of arguments over it. She's got a weird obsession with having the perfect Christmas, and demanding everything meets her crazy standards, and if they don't, she finds someone to point a finger at and say, "You ruined my Christmas." Last year, my BF and I ruined her Christmas because we were too broke to afford nearly any gifts at all for people because we'd just moved and had just started working new jobs. She's upper middle class and is super out of touch with what it's like to be short a couple $100 for rent coming up, and wouldn't listen to any kind of reasoning. This year I ruined her Christmas by speaking my mind. She and I had gone to Walmart a few days ago and there were lots of people with their masks pulled down under their noses. On Christmas Eve when my mom came and picked me up, she started shit-talking all the people at Walmart with their masks down, but while we had been there in the checkout she had pulled her mask down under her nose, and right behind an older woman with an oxygen tank no less. I told my mom she can't talk shit because she had done that too, and she told me I need to be quiet and I'm not allowed to talk to her that way. I'm 21 by the way. She started arguing with me and said she was dying and needed to which I said, what if all those other people were dying as well? She said, stop. I can't do this entire weekend, you can't be argumentative with me. I said if she can't do it the whole weekend she should just take me home. I'd gotten out of the car at that point because I needed to go to the print shop and planned to walk home anyway. While I was printing I got this text transcribed. You owe me an apology. You were pushy and argumentative from the minute you got in the car and then speaking to me the way you did. No, ma'am, that is not appropriate. There is a huge difference between me taking my nose out of my mask for 2 minutes when standing just with you, more than 10 feet away from any other people, and the multitude of people shopping shoulder to shoulder with their noses hanging out. Regardless of any of that, however, the way you spoke to me was rude and disrespectful and not acceptable. If you plan to treat me, or anyone else that way tonight and tomorrow, then I'll take you up on your offer to just stay home. I've gone to a tremendous amount of effort and expense to make this time special for us only to find myself sobbing and wishing I could just go to bed and not see anyone tonight. If you aren't ready to apologize and adjust your attitude, then I can just take you home and be done with it. I'm very upset and disappointed. I've been looking forward to this day for a long time. Now it's on the brink of being ruined. When I finally got to my mom's house, I'd been planning on not apologizing because I don't see a single reason why I should, but she never brought it up and neither did I. She instead gave me the silent treatment all night long, and any time I would try to talk to her she just wouldn't respond or she gave me very short, cold responses. That was okay though, I had a couple friends over so I decided to enjoy my night and let her throw a temper tantrum. I think one of the craziest things my mom is trying to do though is steal a cat from 4 children she doesn't even know because she loves the cat. Simba, his real name and not the one my mom gave him, is this really sweet, fat, and playful indoor-outdoor cat. He showed up to my mom's house a few months ago and she gave him some canned food, and he'd been coming back multiple times after that and staying for hours at a time. She wound up putting a collar and a tag on him and she got a call from a man saying that she can't collar this cat because he's not her cat, it's his and his 4 kids' cat. My mom didn't care. She already decided that Simba just had to be hers. We don't know anything about the people who called other than the man's first name, that he has 4 kids, and that they have a cat. Beyond that it's impossible to make any judgment calls. My mom kept putting collars and tags on him, and Simba's family kept taking them off. My mom and grandma are trying to find any way they can say the cat is being abused. They say because he's a rough player he must be abused by the kids, that because they feed him dry food he's abused, and the man has called my mom a few times calling her a bitch and asshole and stuff. They say because you can hear the kids playing in another room when he's on the phone shouting and cussing out my mom that he must be abusive to the kids and the cat. I don't know about anyone else, but if someone kept trying to steal my cat, I'd probably have some choice words for them too. Plus, the man could be standing in his bedroom or outside with the window open when he makes the phone calls, who's even to know? I've also had cats in the past who'd been abused before I'd gotten them, and in no way does Simba act like an abused cat. He's the sweetest, friendliest cat I've met. He just doesn't like to be picked up and will fuss about it a bit. My mom has put a dog collar with a tag on him and had put a stitch into the collar so he wouldn't be able to slip it off. I tried telling her cat collars are made to break away for a reason, but she didn't care. Before she'd put the stitch into the collar, they found it caught on a big branch, so the poor thing very possibly could have choked to death. He also keeps getting his jaw stuck in the dog collar, since it's made for dog necks and not cat necks, and he could get lockjaw or even break his jaw. My mom was super crazy when it came to Simba this Christmas. On Christmas Eve day, the man called and said he's going to make the cat an indoor cat because he's sick of her trying to collar his cat. He says when Simba disappears, his children get super worried, but my mom's convinced the kids don't care since the man has never put up a lost cat poster or anything. My mom was crying all night long about losing Simba, and saying, "Oh, woe is me for not being able to ever see the cat I stole from children ever again." My mom tried telling the man that nobody owns cats, cats choose where to go, and he said that his cat is microchipped. My mom wants to call the vet and make them change the microchip information for him. She doesn't think you can steal a cat, but you can steal a dog, because in the eyes of the American law, dogs are considered property but cats aren't, and that cats haven't been domesticated as long as dogs have been, so they're still wild animals. A guy in my city had his lawn inflatables stolen in the night, and my mom is hoping he can get them back and that the thief is caught. Yet in the same breath, she justifies stealing someone's cat. My mom also already has 2 cats that she doesn't give any attention to just because they're not as cuddly. She just wants to steal a cat without even first loving the 2 she already has. And even if she's dead set on getting a more cuddly cat, she's trying to steal one instead of adopting from the shelter. When I was a kid, we had a very friendly cat who'd wind up going missing for a week or more because other people would pick him up and take him in. My mom always called them saying that's not their cat, and she'd be happy to share him with them if they pay half his vet bills. They always gave the cat back after she said he's already got a family. Any of those people could have told her, "Look, lady, you've got 3 kids, so clearly he's being abused. I'm doing him a favor, I give him home-cooked meals over your wet canned food. I'll just call the vet and get his chip info changed. I put a collar and tag on him, I changed his name, he's my cat now." Tough shit. She'd throw a fit over that, and I know she'd cuss them out or even call the police. I just don't know where my mom gets off with her outrageous hypocrisy. Honestly, your mom sounds awful. Imagine being so selfish and immature that you think a cat should be yours just because you want it and not caring who you hurt to get it. Plus, it's so sad that she ignores the 2 cats she already has. Our next post is by Cardiff_3. Mom tried to get me kicked from a theme park. So this predates COVID lockdown only by a few weeks. It was my birthday and I had ordered the Ironman Loungefly Endgame backpack purse for myself. I love it. It has become one of my favorite items, and I'm not really one for purses. It clearly looks like a girl's purse with glitter for the infinity stones. Also has I love you 3000 on the side. Like I said, my birthday. It was before WDW closed and really before even the TP panic set in. We were still trying to figure out what was going on. I decided to go to Magic Kingdom to enjoy myself. While there, I wore my purse. Waiting for the 3 o'clock parade, a little boy asked me if that was Iron Man on my backpack. I said yes, and we had a fun conversation about how awesome Iron Man was. Parade starts and he runs off to his family few feet away. Parade finishes and I head off. A little later, a random lady approaches me and starts talking about my bag. I explained how much it was and the website I got it from. She tells me her son loves it. I see the little boy from earlier talking with his dad. Neither are paying attention to me or the mom. She continues and as it's clearly meant for a boy, ignoring all the glitter, I should let her have it for the 30 or so left on her gift card she shoves in my face. No, not in a million years, no. The normal entitled crap starts. Fear of a crowd forming or being the next viral fight video, I roll my eyes and walk off. This enrages the lady. A little later, I get stopped by security. They wanted to get my side and let me know the family had been removed from the park. What I didn't know was a security guard had been watching. He watched me walk away and the lady grab her cheek and run to her husband in hysterics claiming I slapped her. From what the guard said, it was a headache-inducing time dealing with them to the point they removed them from the park. Only reason I remembered was I had someone comment on my bad today and wish they could have it. Rip Tony Stark lol, this lady is weird NGL, it's covered in glitter and all but is meant for boys. Also, was there a crowd starting to form? I mean, I'm a boy and I love glitter too, but this definitely seems like it was targeted more towards girls. Also, you don't simply walk up to someone and be like, hey, can I have that for like $30? Our next post is by Thedreamingfi. EP thinks I should give her money. Thedreamingfi 1D. EP thinks I should give her money. Sorry for the format, I'm on mobile. So this happened to me about a few years ago, and thought I could share it here. So in my late 20s I was still living with my parents, and everyone at my job knew this. It was a really small company. One day as myself and another coworker, EP, was assisting our room with eating, she asked to borrow $20. She told me that her ex-husband claims she never took him for child support, didn't send money. That she need to get her son to school, and went on. I know I shouldn't have done it, but I knew that she was falling on hard times. I lent it to her and told her I needed it back the next week. Which she did repay. Now, that same week was also our pay week. EP, hey op. Me, yes. EP, can I borrow $100? Me, no. EP, why? You let me borrow $20 and I paid it back. Me, $20 is different from $100, and it's a hard no. We literally just got paid today. EP, well, unlike you, I don't live at home like a spoiled child. I have bills, and have a kid with autism, and you're taking food out of his mouth. Me, first off, my money is my money. Sorry that your kid has autism, but that doesn't have anything to do with me. Go pick up extra hours if you need the money, but don't ask me. After that exchange, she then gave me the silent treatment. She was later removed from the room. I wish I could say that's where it ended, but it didn't. So fast forward a few weeks later. So I was the head of the room that she used to be in. So I made the calendar, handled the fundraiser money, and so on. This is very important to the rest of the story. Each Friday I counted the room's money, and wrote down how much we had. Usually somewhere in the week or over the weekend someone went and bought different supplies for the room. Now one Friday I had a horrible migraine while I was counting, but I did what I usually did. I took money to buy supplies over the weekend, and had already told the other coworkers that worked in the room with me. After I took the supply money out, I counted the remaining money twice, and logged everything in. When Monday arrived, first thing I did was take the change out, and placed it into our lockbox. I counted everything, but the total was way off. Of course I blamed myself because I knew I had a migraine last Friday. So I assumed I counted wrong, but I still told another coworker. She recounted and got the same number. We went to our manager, and explained everything. She said she would keep the lockbox for a few days. When she gave it back, nothing was missing. We put it back in and left for the day. The very next day we came back and it was short once again, and another room's money was short as well. At that point my manager and her boss decided to do a mini stakeout. I really can't remember how long it took them to find who it was, but when they did, it was EP. When she was getting fired they said she kept yelling, if Op would have just given me the $100 I wouldn't have to do this. So till this day I really wasn't sure if she was trying to frame me for stealing or what. Out next post is by Getaduck. Let my baby see the dog. I had an eventful Christmas. Between toxic family members and this situation, Lord knows I'm ready for 2021. Also obligatory on mobile. Cast. Me. The sarcastic smartass who was not in the mood for BS. Wife. Mega hot sexy lady whom I love dearly. M. Miles the dog. S. Samson the dog. M. Entitled mom. Eb. Entitled brat 8. EEB. Elder entitled brat had to be 14. G. Gramps who is walking on thin ice with me, but in this situation he was appreciated. So after an incredibly toxic family dinner, my wife and I decided to take our dogs on a walk. I have 2 dogs and both of them are rescues. The first one, named Miles, is Chunkmeister Supreme. Super patient, and super kind. The other dog, named Samson, is an anxious mess. He was abused and he barks at random strangers. He is a sweet boy, but we've been working on leash aggression. Anyway, we began our walk around our neighborhood when my wife realized she forgot something. She had Samson and quickly ran inside to grab it. I believe it was gloves. It was cold outside. Don't quote me on that. As I'm waiting in our driveway, Em and Eb walk by. It starts off as a normal neighborly talk, and then we wish a Merry Christmas. Eb stopped and pet Miles, which is completely fine with me. Miles likes attention, and he is a sweet dog who can handle it. Em continues talking when I hear a bark come from our front door. I turn and my wife is standing in the doorway. She sees Em and Eb and goes back in the house and waits for them to leave. That's always our routine with Samson, as he needs a minute to get used to being on his leash. Eb saw my other dog and ran over to the glass door to look at him. Samson is losing his shit behind the glass and I quickly run over and try to explain the normal. He had a bad owner before we adopted him, so he is scared. The kid didn't care. He wanted to see Samson and he demanded to see him now. He put his hand on the doorknob to try and open it and I lightly pushed his hand off it. The Em ran over, and I expected her to explain to her kid why he couldn't just open up someone's door. Especially during a pandemic, but instead she yells at me for pushing his hand off. I was taken aback but apologized nonetheless. I just wanted them to get away from the door. The little boy kept screaming he wanted to see Samson, and I was trying to explain to the mom why that wasn't possible when she crossed her arms and frowned. If he's so violent, maybe I should just call animal control. At this point my mood is terrible. I look at the woman and tell her that she can get off my property now and have a Merry Christmas. She rolls her eyes and takes Eb by the hand and walks to the street. She stands right off my driveway and crosses her arms and tells me that if I bring that dog out and it barks, she's going to call animal control. Eb is still screaming for the dog and I just look at my wife defeated. I felt like this is the type of woman who would follow us on the walk just to be petty. So I walked back into the house, took my dogs off the harnesses, and my wife and we went on our walk without them. That was fine. When we got back, however, my grandfather screaming at someone. My wife and I run over to see our back gate open. Eb and EEB, who is new, so sorry if that's confusing, were standing at the gate of our backyard with my grandpa standing between them. They had a super soaker and were wanting to spray our dogs for being mean dogs. I took the water gun from them and broke it. Then I tossed it into the street. Probably over dramatic, but if Samson was back there when they were sneaking back, this could have gone really wrong. They ran off crying and the Em came waddling back to our house. We wouldn't answer the door and so she stayed on our porch for 30 minutes and demanded we buy a new super soaker for her kids. When she finally left, she threatened to crack our gate open in the middle of the night so the dogs would get out. Thankfully my wife had the right mind to record this, so if anything happens we can bring it to the authorities. All this to say, please just listen to people when they're working with a reactive dog. Hope everyone here had a Merry Christmas, Happy Holiday. Edit. I just wanted to thank everyone who gave awards. It was nice, a little surprise to wake up to. I'll keep y'all updated on the situation as it unfolds. Hopefully this was the last thing that happens. I did buy a lock this morning. That's securely on there as we speak. I bought Samson and Miles a treat because cute, and I was almost tempted to buy a super soaker and spray them if I ever see them walking around. Just have it locked and loaded. However, I reminded myself I'm an adult and don't want to stir drama. Hopefully this is the last story of the Eb and EEB. I would call the police and report them for trespassing. Get it on the record and have them tell the Em that they are not allowed in your property. Also get a motion sensor camera for your backyard and put a lock on your gate.